All right, boys and girls, I hope you have your paper that you wrote with on Tuesday because you're going to need it. So you're going to get your paper, and what I want you to do and what I'm going to do right now with my paper is I'm going to look at it and I'm going to double check, did I capitalize the start of my sentences? Did I add the correct punctuation at the end of the sentences? And, did I spell things correctly? All right, so I'm going to look up here and I see first, my stomach felt like it was sour and flip-flopping. All right, I see a couple things wrong with it. I hope you see those too. First one is first. All right, I'm going to write these 3 little lines. Those are called editing marks, and those remind me that, hey, that has to be capitalized. It is the start of the sentence. I do like that I remembered after my transition word, I had a comma. So if you didn't put a comma after your transition word, you have to have one there. Everything looks like it's spelled correctly, but I do notice at the end, I did not put, I'm going to circle it. I'm going to put that period there and circle it to remind myself, hey, Mrs. Nyland, you need to put a period there. All right, I'm going to come to my next sentence. And again, boom, straight off the bat, did I capitalize the start of my sentence? I didn't. My goodness. So I'm going to put my 3 lines underneath to remind myself, capitalize that letter. I have my comma. So next, Mrs. Morris. Uh-oh. That's a title. We capitalize titles. I'm glad I remembered to capitalize her last name. Mrs. Morris sent me to the nurse's office. Hey, the rest looks really good. I see a period here, so that is the end punctuation I needed. And I show ownership, possession with the apostrophe S because it's the nurse's office. All right, I'm going to come down to my next sentence. Then, I finally remembered to capitalize. Good job, Mrs. Nyland. Then the nurse took my temperature. I see a period, I see a capital, but I don't see the silent E in nurse. So I'm going to slip that E in there to remind myself to spell nurse correctly. Then the nurse took my temperature. It was 103 degrees. Oh, it went wah. I should have an S, huh? I'm going to add that on there to remind myself. I'm going to look at the last sentence. Has a capital. That's good. Last, she had to call my mom to come pick me up. What am I missing here? Yep, a period. I didn't finish it. There we go. I had the flu. I did have the flu. It was miserable. Hey guys, if there's an I by itself, whether it's at the start of the sentence or in the middle of the sentence, you capitalize it. So I need to put my 3 lines to remind myself that I by itself is always capitalized. And then I can go through and I can make this sentence a declarative with just a period. I had the flu. Or I could, razzmatazz it up and make it an exclamation point. I had the flu. I'm going to do that. So this is what I did with my paper is I went through with you guys and just showed you. I made some corrections on it because I want to do my absolute best now. So I went through this earlier. Okay, I'm going to switch back to the arrow and I made those corrections. So what you're going to do after you do your little editing marks, and you can use a colored pencil or a crayon or a marker to write your little editing marks in there. After you do that, you need to rewrite it with the corrections. So I'm going to, I need to erase all these. So as I'm erasing all these, because that was on our last slide, I want you to look at what my paper looks like now. Okay, I did a 2-finger indent right here. Okay, 2-finger indent. Boom, right here. Then I have my capital. First, my stomach felt like it was sour and flip-flopping, period. Then my next sentence that just happens to start with next, I made sure I capitalized it. And in that transition word, I also made sure I had the comma. Next, Mrs. Morris sent me to the nurse's office. Then the nurse took my temperature. It was 103 degrees. Now look what I did here. Temperature is a really long word. I didn't want to go all the way to the end of the paper because that kind of looks sloppy and a little crazy. So what I did is I wrote as many letters as I could fit before I hit the margin line, and then I put a hyphen there. A hyphen says, hey, I didn't have enough room to finish my word, so you need to go down to the next line to see what the rest of the word is. Okay? It was 103 degrees. Last, she had to call my mom to come pick me up. I had the flu. Now, when I rewrote it here, I just made it a declarative. Just did a period. All right? So I hope that helps you understand how you're supposed to edit your writing. Okay? So on that first slide, let's go back to slide 1. Now all the editing marks are gone because I erased them. But what you guys are going to do is you're going to go through on your paper, make the corrections that you need to make, and then I want you to rewrite it in your absolute best handwriting with all your corrections. I'm super excited to read all about your ouch moment, guys. Okay? Have fun.